and say your name and affiliation again before you ask the question. First question, the front row, on the left to Mark.
Steve, Mark Medina, Bay Area News Group. Are there any new medical updates with Kevin Durant, DeMarcus Cousins, and what they can do moving forward?
No, Kevin is, I think we already announced he's not playing in game one. His next step is individual court work. So that, that'll be the next priority over the next couple of days, and hopefully he can ramp that up, and then he's going to have to practice. We have to see him in practice before he can play a game, and he hasn't practiced yet.
Second question is on the left side, fourth row.
Anthony Slater with The Athletic. Have you decided yet on Cousins tomorrow, and then, right over here? Oh. And are you thinking about how you might use him, minute total, that type of thing? Yeah, DeMarcus has done an amazing job coming back from the injury, which we felt at the time was season-ending. And so he's done an incredible job of rebounding, rehabbing, and now here he is. He's scrimmaged a couple times this week. He's pain-free. So it's really more a matter of rhythm and timing and conditioning, all those things. I think I mentioned the other day, if this were the regular season, I'd throw him out there and he'd play whatever minutes he could tolerate, and we'd build him up from there. It's not the regular season, it's the finals. So we have to figure out what's the best way to utilize him, how many minutes he can play, what the game feels like, what the matchups are like. And so some of that will be determined by, what's happening in the game, and the other stuff is just internal with our staff. Excuse me? Active for sure in game one?
It hasn't been decided yet.
Okay.
Same row, left side, Steve, Tim Cowell.
Tim Cowell on The Athletic. You've been asked and have answered about just the differences this series again after 4 previous against the same team, same city. But now that you're here, new team, starting on the road, new city, does it begin to hit you how different it does feel in the series?
Yeah, it's very different, and it's exciting. Toronto's always been a favorite stop, favorite city of mine, and I think a lot of people in the NBA. And it's a great crowd. I think going way back before I was even coach of the Warriors, when I was doing TV, the 2 arenas that I felt were just the most electric were Oracle and here. And you could tell that there was just kind of this organic love and energy and passion for basketball in both places, because neither team was that good, and yet the arenas were filled, and there was so much excitement. And I think that the sense now that we have as a team is we can understand, we can feel how important this is to the whole country. So it's a different vibe, it's a different feeling, it's exciting, it's great for the game. Different for us, obviously, having been in Cleveland 4 straight years. But this is more the rule. That was the exception. I mean, you're not supposed to go to the finals 4 straight years, and you're definitely not, if you're lucky enough to do that, you're not supposed to play the same team 4 straight years. So that was really an oddity. This is more what the finals normally feel like, where you're going against a team you frankly don't know that well, and that you haven't seen that often over the previous few years.
Fourth row on the right side, fourth row. Eric.
Hey, Steve. Eric Corrine, The Athletic. I know it's a few years back. What do you remember about how Kawhi Leonard was performing in that game 1 before he injured himself against you guys? And how is he, based on the video you've seen, how has he grown as somebody you have to, game plan to slow down since then? Well, that was, I believe, 2017. He was having a great game. The Spurs were kicking our butts. They were up 23 points. So they were having their way with us. But in terms of how Kawhi has grown, I don't know, he was finals MVP in 2014. So 5 years later, he's probably a little bit older and wiser. He's definitely older. I think he's wiser. I think he's seen more. And, as you get older in your career, you
especially as a great player like he is, you see more and more coverages. You see how different people play you. So he's probably a little more rounded as a player, more aware of how teams are trying to play him. But no matter how you slice it, he's been a superstar in this league, one of the top few players in the game for 5-6 years now.
Right side, sixth row back.
Steve, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. this postseason, we've seen Draymond get into incredible shape, and we've also heard him talk about not complaining and stuff like this. Is this a more mature version of him? And how has that played out this postseason?
He's been great on and off the floor. I mean, his leadership has been great. Yes, he lost some weight and got himself in much better condition over the last couple of months. You can just see it. Watching the 2 Toronto games on tape that we played. I think one of them he missed, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe he played both. But he's a different guy. He looks different. He's slimmer and sleeker and faster. And I think that confidence has allowed him to be more poised on the floor. You know, when you're playing well and you're feeling good about yourself, it's easier to sort of maintain your emotions. And so I think there was some frustration earlier in the year when he wasn't playing as well. And he's such a passionate, competitive guy that some of those frustrations came out. But this is the best. You're seeing the best of Draymond right now. Great condition, unbelievably high level of play, and very poised. And to me, it all ties together.
Final question, the right side in the back, DeMarcus.
Steve, Marcus Thomas with The Athletic. In what ways do you see how Kyle Lowry has put his imprint on this team? I know you're going against him. You've seen him over the years. What about this team kind of fits his personality and his game?
Well, he's tough. I mean, that's the thing that jumps out at you when you watch Kyle, is he's a leader and he's tough, physically and mentally. And I think he's in a perfect role where he can lead without having to be the best player. They have the continuity now of having this team around him, and then you add Kawhi, the superstar, and now I think Kyle can be in the perfect role for himself and for his team, which is point guard, leader, and he can step up and have big games when he has to, but he's not relied on for that scoring night in and night out. And so it seems to me he's really thrived this year with Kawhi next to him.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
Steph Curry.